Hello everybody, welcome to the NPTEL course on customer relationship management. This is Dr. Shagata Chatterjee from Vigisom IIT Kharagpur who is taking this course for you. So, we are in week 2 and this is session 4 and I will be discussing about the various kinds of problems of or reasons why customers actually switch, and I have come up with the actual case data which we will be discussing in this particular class. So, the data that I have collected here in this particular class has been collected from a company which is I would say telecom company, and from a particular part of India this data has been collected. So, the dates have been given, there is some unit porting code which we have coded as let me just put it in a So, now you can see probably. So, the unique port code, so the codes that you get in your when you try to do mobile number porting is something that is written here, and because of issues related to the I would say privacy and etc., we have changed the code numbers and I have just written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the quoting status was successful or not, porting status was successful or not, the state from which the data has been collected, the gender of the people, the district, whether they are urban customers or not urban customers, and the segment, whether they are prepaid or postpaid customers, which provider they wanted to move, and what are the reasons that they had for mobile number porting. And the last one is whether to willing to continue with BSNL or not. So, the data has been collected from BSNL and this is the basic data that we have got. The customer names have been hidden, the customer other details have been hidden. So, nobody will know that who this particular customer is, but basic reasons of why customer has switched can be generated from this kind of a data. So, when we run customer relationship management, and as I told, there has to be an exit interview. In the last session I told, the exit interview is a data which is as simple as this, which is nothing very big. So, during the exit you just ask him 2-3 questions, you have his gender, his or her gender, you have the customer's location, you sometimes also know in which service provider he has ported or not, but you might not know why this guy is trying to leave. So, you have to ask in 2-3 questions that why you are trying to leave, what are your perception about the price, what are your perception about your service quality and etc. So, the moment you do that, that will be enough to go ahead with. So, in this particular session, I will take a small probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes session. In that, we will do some analysis of this kind of a data to create certain input. Now, you have to understand that this is very basic analysis. In actual statistical analysis, when we try to do, we do much in-depth analysis, we do a pretty big survey, probably 10-15 questions, and we do sometimes structural equation modeling, sometimes causal relationships, sometimes experiments to see that what kind of things will work, what kind of things will not work. But if you are a customer service manager or customer relationship manager, and it is not needed that you have to be very technically heavy. Sometimes it is also okay to have a broad level data to take decisions then and there. So, that is something which is important, and we will be doing that in this particular class. So, how I will analyze the data? If you have this data set with you, please open the data set and then go to insert and click on this pivot table. So, click on this pivot table. So, whenever you click on this pivot table, this will select the whole cells, all cells together, and you press OK. So, that will create a view like this. This is the pivot charts view, in which in the right side you will see that all the items, all the table headers are there, and in the left side the basic charts and plots is something that we are going to create. So, I hope that many of you already know pivot chart. So, what I will do is I will just drag these customer reasons for porting out in my rows and reasons for porting out in the values also. So, this gives me the counts, what are the various reasons why customers ported out. And what I will do is I will sort based on sort in the descending order of count of primary reason for port out. So, basically in this axis I am creating a descending order. So, you will see that if I just focus on this one, why people wanted to port out, the reasons of people being ported out. So, the biggest reason is basically the network problem. So, why BSNL will have a network problem? When BSNL will have a network problem? BSNL will have a network problem when, so how network problems can be solved? By putting more towers, as simple as that. Why don't BSNL put more towers, or any company is not putting more towers in the locality from where this particular data has been generated? Because this person felt that he will not attribute the problem to his phone. If he has attributed the problem to his phone, he would have bought a new phone, but he will not attribute the problem to his phone. He will attribute the problem to the service provider. And when he attributes the problem towards the service provider, he thinks that okay, this guy I am having network problem. That means what? That means this particular guy is not putting enough tower in my area. Why he is not putting enough tower in my area? Because this particular company might think that this particular locality is not profit generating or not valuable for them. So, in and out, as I told in the last class, that the major thing that you will be the major reason why you will be switching is that you will have a feeling that this particular service provider or the company does not care about you. Network problem talks about that. If the product was bad, they would not have bought BSNL at all initially. They found BSNL to be suitable, that is why they have bought, and now they are switching because they feel that enough care has not been taken about them. So, that is something that we can see here. And if I try to just see that what are the next problems. The next problem is better prepaid plans, which is related to price, poor network coverage, which network problem and poor network coverage should be similar. So, this number will be 141 in that case. High call rates is again related to price. Wrong balance direction, this is a service issue. Network congestion, this is again a network issue. So, you can say, if I just do a little bit of maths. So, network issue is as of now 110. So, let us plus 31 plus 14, this is network issue as of now. And then price is basically 56 plus 23 as of now. Then wrong balance direction is a service issue. So, service is as of now 14. Then next is then comes network congestion, which we have already included here. So, this should be 13, I would say, not 14. Okay. Then call drop. Call drop is still a quality issue. It might be a network issue, but it is also a quality issue. So, I would say quality, which is 9. And then value added services is 8, which is a service issue. So, this becomes 22 now. Then GPRS is 7, which is again probably a service issue, I do not know, 29. And recharge top up not easily available, definitely a service issue, 34. And then frequent network down again. So, another 5, 159. Then comes affordability, another 3, so 82. This becomes recharge denomination not available, certain denomination means smaller denomination is not available. So, that is probably a little bit related to price, 84. Postpaid bill issue is again a service. So, this is 36, and VAS activation is also service 38. So, oftentimes you activate the VAS on your own value added service. PRBT activation is again another 40, and relocation and roaming issue. Roaming is still probably a quality issue, and relocation is only 1. So, moving out of market, the one that I was talking about, is only 1. So, this is what you get ultimately, and if I just insert a pie chart, does this pie chart look similar to the one that we have created, we have seen in that box, that one major chunk will go for the network issue, which is related to you do not care, and then some people go for the price issue and some people go for the service issue, that whatever kind of service you are providing. So, this is what I tried to say, that whatever you thought were the reasons, major reasons, were also there in this particular part of the world. So, the major reason is still that the services are not good. Now, the next part I will see that whether these particular things vary depending on the nature of the customers or not. Let us see whether the thing that we told is how much that is generalizable. So, it will be generalizable only when that is true for all types of customers. Let us put gender. So, male and female. I have created this data set, the same data set based on male and female. So, do you see that for male gender, network coverage is probably 69 plus 25 plus majorly this 8. So, 33 plus 69 comes up to be 102, right. 69 plus 30, yes, 99 plus. So, 102. So, 102 out of 190, that comes up to around 53%. I think that it similar was the case for the total one. So, 110 plus 31 plus 13, if I leave the other one. So, 141 and plus 13, 154. So, 154 divided by 294 is still similar, right. And for the female also 41 plus 6 plus 5. So, 41 plus 11, which is 52. 52 divided by 104 is almost 50%. So, you will see the pattern is same. So, if we do a simple the chi-square test between the reasons and gender and not gender, you might say find that there is no significant difference. So, that gives me an idea that the reasons that we have found out, which are the major possible reasons for which people switched, is consistent over gender. Gender has little impact on, gender might have some impact on the pricing part. You can say that whether the price, so we can, so not caring is a major problem for both of the case. The next biggest reason that we found was the pricing, right. So, we can check, you can check that whether the price is also coming up to be the major reason for both male or female or not. So, that is how we try to check. Now, gender I will leave. The next thing is, let us say whether he is an urban customer or rural customer. So, that is also an important factor. So, we can see that 132 customers are urban, 162 customers are rural, and in that case if I just see how much is 49 plus 13 plus 1. So, 49 plus 14, which is 63 divided by 132, and in this case 61 plus 18 plus 12, so 30, 91 divided by 162. Now, these two numbers are pretty different. So, 47% and 56%, probably if you run a chi-square test, you might get a different result, which trying to say, which I am by saying that I am trying to say that the reason that network problem will be the reason for moving out if you are an urban customer is higher. That means what? If it is an urban customer, it is their expectation that there will not be network problem. Even if it is a urban location, even if being in an urban location you are facing network problem, then that is not because the profitability issue, that is because the company is not taking care of you. They are not bothered about you. then only you will face network problem in a urban zone, because urban zones are generally more profitable than rural zones. So, that is why network problem is more major issue for people who are switching from BSNL to other service providers and staying in Mathura districts, urban area, and probably not so much of a problem for rural areas. It is still a problem, 47% is doing that, but 47% and 56%, if I take the proportion, that is quite a bit of difference. So, if we do t-test over proportions, or if we do a chi-square test over all these things, you might find out a significant difference between these two samples. So, that is one thing. Then what extra that we will get, let us say whether the prepaid or postpaid. So, customer segment I will try to see. So, we do not have postpaid customers mainly. So, we cannot actually, so there are only 6 postpaid customers and 288 prepaid customers. So, this is probably not that much comparable. Anything else that becomes important? Let me just check. Okay. So, another important thing that becomes important here is that where they are trying to move. One is the moving, one is the reasons for movement, another is to which operator you are trying to move. So, which operator you are trying to move, if I try to do the same thing and then if I sort it up, so most are going to Vodafone, Airtel, and then Idea and Tata Docomo. So, the idea that I am trying to say here is that when customer switch, customer tries to find out that whatever you do not have, which other company might have that. And you also will come to get an idea that who are your major competitors in the market. So, obviously, Vodafone and Airtel are your major competitors, because not only they have higher market share, the switching also happens from BSNL to, at that point of time, the data is of 2011, quite old data. So, switching is also happening from BSNL to Vodafone and Airtel. So, which are pretty big numbers, 79, 73. So, these are the major players. And does that change over gender? Does that change over gender? I think no. So, see 104.23 and 119.56, probably this percentage is not that different. So, why do not we put this in the percentage of the row total? So, no calculation, percentage of column total. Okay. Percentage of column total. You will see that 30% people are going to Airtel, female, and 22% is going to Vodafone, while here 30% is coming to Vodafone and 22% is coming to Airtel. So, that is a very important observation, that females are going to Airtel majorly and males are going to, and even Airtel and even Idea also, and male are going to mainly Vodafone and then other things. Question is why? Why that kind of a difference is? Is it that they are giving certain kind of offers which is related to gender? Is it because certain reasons are more focused towards gender? Who is going to Vodafone? Whether there is a relationship between various reasons and various service providers? You can check all of these things. Then I would try to see that okay, sorry. So, sorry, just 1 minute. Yeah, this is what we had. Then I will say that whether urban customer, rural customer also has a difference. I do not think that difference is there. So, mostly if we check that urban customers or rural customer, whether these numbers are same. So, though gender wise there is a difference, in urban rural wise there is not much difference. Now, the last one that I am going to see is that whether there is a difference in terms of the reasons why you are planning to port out. Now, this is a big table. Let me help you understand what this means. So, just check the table carefully. So, if I check affordability, then better prepaid plans, call drop, what is the highest? Which one is the highest? So, you will see the bigger problems were the network issues, network problem. So, when people are having network problem, this was the major one, network problem if you remember. People who are having network problem, 35% are going to Vodafone and 22 and 25% will go to Airtel and Idea. So, majorly when you have a network problem, you will switch to Vodafone. Network coverage, the same thing applies. So, that might be very much localized decision. That means, that is probably Mathura's decision, because in Mathura probably the network coverage of Vodafone was better at that time. But whatever I am saying, that you can get an idea that if network problem is the major issue, where people are going. So, if network problem and major issue, people are going to Vodafone. On the other hand, if affordability, price, call rates are major issue, for example, high call rates, you will see that people are going to Airtel and Uninar. Uninar very less percentage, they are going to Airtel mainly. Or let us say, if I talk about better prepaid plans, they are going to Tata Docomo, Idea, Airtel. So, Airtel is coming up to be affordability, again Tata Docomo, Aircel, sometimes Uninar. Those who are talking about, let us say, roaming issue, wrong balance deduction, which was the major ones. The major ones were recharge or top up availability, again they are going to this one which is Airtel, and then this one which is Idea. So, all the non-monetary related reasons, all the monetary related reasons, they are going to all other places. But the only problem which is network problem, which is the majority chunk, they are coming to Vodafone. So, Vodafone, in this context I would say that Vodafone had been able to capture the problem of its competitor quite well, because network problem coverage is the major problem in this context. On the other hand, price and affordability and call rates and all of these things which are related to price, this is where Vodafone does not have an advantage. Many other people have an advantage and they are playing with each other. So, they are fighting with each other, they are not creating a major market share, because they are cannibalizing each other. On the other hand, Vodafone had a pretty good market share in this particular zone, because they could differentiate and they could say that okay, network coverage is the major thing that we are going to provide. This is old data, old case study. In 2011, you have to collect newer data, the situations have changed quite a bit, but this is how from the exit interview, from basic creating certain charts and graphs, you can get an idea of what are the possible reasons people are leaving, whether there is a difference between different segments in terms of the reasons of leaving or not, whether people are happy to stay with you, where if they leave, where they are going. All details can be analyzed using this kind of a data analysis. So, that is all for this particular class on retention planning. In the next session, we will discuss, in the next video, we will discuss about in detail about relationship management strategies and co-option and customer engagement experience strategies. And in the later part of this particular week, we will discuss about social CRM. Thank you very much for being with me. I will see you in the next video.